For a change, this isn't coming out straight away after the race. Bit of a delay on this one because of other commitments, but I already explained that in some previous videos. But the important thing is that I'm here now to review all the action from the 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix and go over the 5 main talking points, the 5 highlights, the 5 things that we learned from the 2025 Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, the first thing is that Oscar Piastri is absolutely on fire at the moment, claiming a commanding pole position on Saturday and converting it into a very important win on Sunday. He needed to make up ground to Lando Norris, particularly with Lando Norris starting further down the grid. More on him very soon, but that catapults Oscar Piastri to just 3 points behind his McLaren teammate in the Drivers' Championship. Now, he won by around 15 seconds in the end, did Piastri. That did kind of flatter him. He was on much better tyres than George Russell, who ended up finishing in second place. Again, more on him very soon as well. But in truth, he wasn't really that troubled. It was only really at the restart where George Russell was on the better tyres for the restart after the safety car, but in the end, Piastri absolutely walked it. 15 seconds just over. He won the Grand Prix by a really, really important one. And as well, McLaren's first ever win around Sakhir, which is a real surprise. I mean, we did hypothesize about this coming, of course, but a real surprise that in the first place, it's taken over 20 years for this to happen, but it has happened in the end. And it was a double podium for McLaren too, but it could have quite easily been a 1-2 in the end. Lando Norris was absolutely driving like a man possessed, so much so that he actually missed his actual starting place on the grid, got a 5-second penalty as a result of that. Despite that, though, despite taking that penalty, he clawed his way all the way up onto the back of George Russell's gearbox by the end of the race. He was absolutely clamoring to get by, trying to make it a McLaren 1-2, a second McLaren 1-2 this season, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't make it happen. Russell held on in the end. In my opinion, Lando was almost caught out by the pace that he had. He was so far faster, so much faster than George Russell. He basically almost outbroke himself going into turn 1 on the final lap. If he just sort of hung back, he would have really got him, I think, on the way down to the second braking zone of turn 4. But as it was, it didn't happen for him. Still a solid result, still top of the championship, but that lead is looking very slender to his rival Oscar Piastri, who is, of course, the closest rival to him, in part because Red Bull kind of sucked this weekend, really. They were well off it, in truth. I mean, I think Max Verstappen, to be honest with you, did a really good job to get 6th place in the end. He was absolutely nowhere. He was 7th in qualifying. It wasn't even a case of Yuki Tsunoda underperforming in the car either. He was P10. I don't think Max Verstappen was really working miracles compared to Yuki Tsunoda, but Tsunoda, he got his first points for Red Bull, which is a positive 9th place. But yeah, I mean, Verstappen down in 6th, and really, it only happened on the last lap for him. He got past Pierre Gasly literally on the final lap of the race to take that 6th place. But yeah, not a good day for Red Bull. They'll be looking for much better in Saudi Arabia next weekend, but their car at the moment looking not very quick after looking so quick in Japan. It's a really competitive season, is this, in Formula 1. But let's talk about George Russell. Is he a title contender? Well, I would say certainly that title contenders include both the McLarens and Max Verstappen, and George Russell, he's only just hanging on to those coattails of Max Verstappen. He's not that far behind, only 6 points behind, and you have to go all the way back to Charles Leclerc in 5th for another driver, of course, behind that, and he's on like half the points, 32 points compared to George Russell's 63, just over, a tiny bit over half the points of what his rival is there. So I think you'd have to include him in that conversation. He's not been outside the top 5 all season so far, 3 podium positions as well, and a 2nd place in Bahrain to boot. I think Russell is looking really impressive, especially how much his teammate Antonelli struggled in the race. I mean, Antonelli ended up down in P11. I only caught the brief highlights. I may have missed something very obvious for that as to why he was so slow in the race, but in qualifying he looked good, but in the race it just was not on for him. I don't know if he got caught out with a bad pit stop in the safety car period or something. Guys, let us know what happened in there in the comments below. But yeah, literally I just got back now, and I'm just recording this after going through the race itself and the main talking points. So the final thing that we learned, though, is that testing does not necessarily equal a boring race. Yes, I didn't watch the entire race. I've not had the time to do that, unfortunately, but I tell you what, this definitely seemed better than Japan, and probably better than China as well, just going off of the highlights. Not a classic by any means, but it was still eventful. There was a battle for the lead. There was some decent battles in the mid-pack as well. Carlos Sainz was in every single fight during this race, really. He was doing a really good job to battle through all that, but unfortunately, in the end, he did end up retiring. But yeah, he was looking pretty good in the Williams until then. But yeah, eventful for sure. Definitely better than what it has been. And having preseason testing at Bahrain and then going for the race a little bit after, at least, it doesn't necessarily equal a bad race. So I think that is a positive at the end of the day. And definitely after the snooze fest that was Japan, it is a positive that's really welcoming and not entirely expected, to be honest with you. But yeah, those are my kind of thoughts from seeing the race, guys. What were yours in the comments below? Let us know as always. And of course, I'll bring you plenty of content heading up to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend this weekend too. And yeah, have a fantastic day, guys. Hope you had a great weekend watching this race, and we'll see you very soon for much more content like this. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you like this and you want to see more. Have a fantastic day.